Hi, and welcome to this video, which is mainly going to be focused on connecting Visual Studio Code to your MongoDB database and then interacting with it using Visual Studio Code. So I'm going to split it into two parts. This first part's just going to be about connecting it, and then the second part will be about using pipelines within MongoDB to actually interact with the data. So this first slide is just going to detail out the bits that you need to go through to be able to connect to Visual Studio Code. So I'm going to demonstrate this in Visual Studio Code itself. So if I bring it up, the first thing you have to do is you have to install MongoDB extension, which is this one here. I've already got it installed, but you just literally find it in your extensions pack and then just click the install button and it'll install it, and then you'll get this little icon over here. Once you've done that, you come to this, you click on this little icon, and you need to then connect your instances in MongoDB to Visual Studio Code. And you do this by going to I should say you can do this in two ways. So you can do this either by creating a local instance of your database, and you can use this community edition to be able to spin up a server to be able to connect to that, to be able to interact with your data that way. Or you can use the free Atlas service from MongoDB, create an account on there, and then you need to obtain this connection string that we've got here to be able to connect your Visual Studio Code to MongoDB in Atlas in the cloud. So inside Atlas, once you've created an account, it'll take you through step by step, and you'll end up on this screen here. And then once you're on this screen here, you just need to click on the connections button. And this connections, and then you'll be given this screen, and it literally says it there. So MongoDB for Visual Studio Code, and you just click on that, and then you just need to copy this connection string here that we've got, and take that copy and go back to Visual Studio Code. I need to click the plus sign, but if you didn't have any connections already, it would already be showing like this screen here. Oops. This screen here, and then you just click on this connection string, or connect with a connection string. Click on that, and then you just paste that connection string in here, but with the password as well. So that will be the password of the user. So here I've just got an admin user that I've created, and then I'd have a password for that, and I just need to put that in the connection string, and then I'll connect. So once you've done that, you'll be connected to MongoDB through your Visual Studio Code, and you'll have something that on the left hand side that looks a little bit like this. I've named them, but it will start off with just maybe just a string of numbers and stuff like that, and that'll be your MongoDB instance, and you can just rename it like I've done. And then once you've connected to your instance on MongoDB, you can then actually see a complete picture of that instance. So here we can see that I've got two databases under this instance, and inside one of these databases I've got a collection which is called example datas, which is what we're going to be using in a minute, and inside that we can see that we've got documents. It tries to guess a schema for you, but that's not really too useful. But inside here, if I wanted to, I could actually have a look straight at the data. So here we can see that this is what the structure of the data looks like in MongoDB. So you have an instance, and then the database, a collection, and then a document. So the database is the same as in SQL, it would be a database. A collection is like a table in SQL, and then a document is like a row in SQL. Right. Once you've created your connection to MongoDB, the next thing we need to talk about is the playgrounds. So this is where you'll actually write some MongoDB code to be able to interrogate the data inside your database. And we always used to say that the great thing about MongoDB is that you can do whatever. The bad thing about MongoDB is that you can do whatever. So literally, like, there's no structure in place like there is with SQL or whatever. If you want to send something over to the database that says ID Justin, and there's not even like meant to be an ID field there, it will put that in there. If you want to create a collection, like, it will just create a collection for you. It doesn't care. It's just like all like text to MongoDB, and it will just store it for you wherever you tell it to do it. So you have to be a bit careful when you're interacting with MongoDB. But once you get the hang of it, it's relatively simple. So, an example of setting up a playground. So if we go to where you would normally go to in Visual Studio Code in your file structure, you can just create a file, and all you need to do is put on the end of it .mongodb, the extension, and then this now becomes your MongoDB playground. So if we look at this, the structure that it will hold is you put at the top use, and this is the database that you want to use within your MongoDB instance, and then you say that this is the collection that you want to look at within this database here. So I'm using this database of TCG, YouTube-examples, and then I've got this example datas. And then I'm just using this pretty standard pipe of find, and then I've just put another sort pipe after that, so you can chain your pipes if you want to in MongoDB. That's no problem. So once you've created that, you can just hit play, and then it will run and it will bring you back the results. So it's fine. Now it does limit the results of the data that it will show. So this is why I have this .to array, and if I put that on the end, it will bring back everything that's in that database. So I just have to hit play again, and then I know that I'm seeing everything in relation to that query that I've carried out there. So you declare the database, any code you have written. Yeah, so any code that you write in the live environment, you can just replicate it here within your playground. So this is why I found it really useful to use Visual Studio Code, because I could just write my code in Visual Studio Code just straight onto the database like this, and then take that and put it in my Node.js backend server, so that it just made it easier for me to be able to get an instantaneous result of what's happening. The result is limited, so you've got to use that to array, and you can edit the responding data directly in Visual Studio Code. So here you can get this edit button. When I demonstrated it yesterday, it didn't let me do it. I don't know why that is. Oops. I'm not too sure why that's doing that. Ah, here, edit document. Yeah. So it's brought it up. So if you click on that, it creates a new tab, and I can edit this document here. So if I want to change that to just coda, like that, and then hit save. Now if I run this query again, we can see that it's changed it on the database for me. So that's literally changed it up in the cloud now to just coda where I said that.